Hey everyone, welcome back to Evony with Genghis on server 68. Today we're going to talk about ground generals. So there has been a lot of new generals released in Evony. So rather than just reviewing them or making another top 5 list, etc., I don't think that really is too helpful anymore, because it seems like every event, Evony is adding 1 or 2 new generals, and they are awesome. So that's good news. Other news is that you don't need them all. You only need one of those. So if you get one of those, just keep it, fully spec him out, do all his specialties, cultivate him up, and keep them. And don't even worry about the new ones. Yeah, one of them's going to come out, and it's going to be 1 or 2 or 3% higher. But who cares? Really, at the end of the day, that doesn't matter too much when we're talking about these new refined percentages and attacking. You could have 15, 1700%. What's the difference if you have 1697 instead of 1701? So let's go through these. I have 5 ground generals I'd like to talk about. If you have any of these, you're looking pretty good. There's 3 that are better, and some of them have different purposes. So let's honorable mention here. This is not one of the 5. It's just one of the other ones that people do get at times. And if you have gotten Karis, just keep him if you don't have one of the other ones yet. But I wouldn't invest in his specialties, his specs. Do not do these. Just wait, and you'll get one of the other ones. I think it'll pay off more for you. So he would come in probably 6th place for me. Maybe there's some other ones out there just like him, but we're not going to focus on them today. I can't think of any off the top of my head. But let's look at the one that I would say is 5th place. And he is the all-around general. We'll refer back to him a little bit. And that is Trajan. He is available in the tavern, which is awesome for everybody. And the best part about Trajan is he has multi-purpose. You can use him, some people used to use him on their wall. You can use him best to reinforce. He's all reinforce teammates. He's also excellent at reinforcing in buildings. So if you want to trap people and put some multi troops in there, some people with archer and another guy with ground. If Trajan is the ground general, he is excellent for that. And I'm going to tell you why. So if we look at his special skill here, increase your ground troops attack and defense by 15, as well as ground troop HP by 20 when leading the army. Right here it just says ground troop, ground troop, ground troop, ground troop, and ground troop. So the thing that it doesn't say there, which is so important for Trajan, it does not say attacking or marching. So all of his specialties will work when sitting inside a building or a teammate's city. So if you max him out and you want to use him specifically for reinforcing, you should be putting all Achaemenid gear on him. So don't put heirs gear on him, because some of those heirs gear also have attacking buffs, and you want to avoid that. You want all buffs that will actually work at the same time. So Trajan is excellent. I have him, and I have him on a building right now, duty officer, because I got Elise, who is better than him. But now that I'm starting to get to the point where I have more troops and I can afford to start reinforcing people permanently and playing more games like that, I think I'm going to actually make some new gear just for Trajan and use him to reinforce people. And I think it might pay off in having just specifically gear just for him. Now let's look at the other generals, and we'll refer back to Trajan to see what I'm talking about when the marching and attacking guidelines. So let's look at the top 3 in my opinion. So we'll just look at Scipio first, because he has been the gold standard for about a year and a half now. He's been the best ground general. Recently, Evony has released 2 that are pretty equal to him. Give or take, they're basically all the same. So Scipio, if we look here, increased ground troop attack and when he's leading the army. Awesome, that will work all the time. Ground troop attack, attacking ground troop attack. So that doesn't work in all scenarios. Just like if you use some of the heirs gear on your wall general, some of it says attacking troop attack, specifically the 2-piece buff, and that doesn't work on defense. Now here, this will work in all scenarios, but this is the big one. Marching ground troop HP and marching ground troop defense. So those will not work if you're reinforcing a teammate or if he's in a building because he's not marching. So that is Scipio's downfall. He is arguably the best general for attacking a building or attacking a city, but he doesn't reinforce as well. Now, again, like I said, does 26% matter when you're talking about HP levels in the 1500 level or 1300 level for very elite players? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but it is something to take into consideration. Now, let's look at Elise. This is my ground general, and she increases ground troop HP by 30%, increases ground troop attack by 30%. These are just ground troop. They work in all scenarios. So does that one. So do those. And so does this. So she comes close to Scipio and she tops Trajan. The only thing is she has to have a dragon. So if you don't have a dragon for her, I'm currently using Norway Ridge, the Wonder 1 dragon for her. It's not specifically a ground dragon. You need the Amaterasu All-Star Dragon, the white snake, or if you do have Laden, the other All-Star Dragon, or if you use Wonder 3 Dragon, Nidhogg for archers, you can move Celtic onto Elise. But she does need a dragon for all of her powers. So Trajan has her beat on that a little bit. But most people who use her will have a dragon on her, such as what I do. Now, this is the new guy coming out, Guan Yu, and he is very good. He increases ground troop attack 30, ground troop 20 when leading the army, works in all scenarios. Right here, attacking ground troop attack 10%. So that will not be available when he is in a building or reinforcing. Those ones will. And right here, marching. So those will not be available. But Evony is also sort of coming into mixed rallies. Lots of people are kind of seeing mixed rallies are working in Battlefield. People aren't really sure if Evony's changed the mechanics for mixed rallies, or maybe it's just the rally sizes are just overwhelming and it doesn't even matter what you put in the rally. So if you have Guan Yu, Scipio, or Elise, you have one of the top 3 generals. And let's compare them. So Scipio comes in at 80 attack, and Guan Yu has 90 attack when you add all of this up. And actually, sorry, I am wrong. Guan Yu has 80 attack, Scipio has 60, and Elise has 90. So Elise gets the highest amount of attack out of them. And then when you go to HP, Guan Yu right here gets 70. And Scipio comes in the highest at 86, while Elise has 80. And then if you go to defense, Guan Yu and Elise only have 10, and Scipio comes in with 36. So Scipio trails a little bit in attack, but HP and defense are the 2 most important things for ground generals. And now keep in mind, they lose some of that if you're using them for reinforcing. Elise does not, but she needs the dragon. So Elise, if she has a dragon, is the best all-around ground general available if you're going to use her for multiple things. If you're just going by attacking other cities, you cannot go wrong with Guan Yu or Scipio. But all 3 of these are basically head and shoulders above the rest. Now, let's look at the other kind of anomaly general, and it is Alexander. So he has a different skill. Much like Tamiris So every alliance kind of needs one or needed one before the rally capacities increased. And here he is, Alexander. So they changed him. He used to look like, do we have the old Alexander here? Just to look, should be here somewhere. The old Alexander. This is the old Alexander, but they changed how he looked. I actually liked the old look. This one's pretty cool too, though. But you can see he has a very high attack core, 120, the highest in the game, and very high HP as well. But we don't need to look at that for Alexander. The most important thing here is rally capacity 15%. That makes Alexander very worthwhile having. Some alliances, especially on early servers, so probably server continent 4 and 3 right now, and even 2, people struggle to fill ground rallies. Only the elite players have ground troops or ground generals complete to help out. So maybe it's not that important then, but later on, you're going to need strong ground generals as it's one of the best attacks in the game. And Alexander will increase your rally capacity 15%. So if you have a war hall with a base stat of 15 million, I think it gets up to at when you're getting up to K40, even if it's 10 million, you're going to add 1.5 million to that capacity. You're going to be able to get over 2 million bonus in that rally. So he's very important. And if you look at his other skills here, so ground troop attack, it works everywhere. Attacking ground troop, this will not work. Reinforcing, this one will. And right here, this will not either. Attacking ground troop attack. So Alexander is a single purpose general. He probably won't even be your best ground general in the alliance. So it's something to think about. What's better, to have our player with Scipio, who has the better general, lead it, or Alexander and get another 2 million troops in the rally? That's for alliances to experiment and look at and try to figure out. But there's no harm in just using any of those generals to lead a rally. But Alexander has this special skill that no one else has. So this is my opinion on who the best ground generals are that are available. I think most would agree with this. The top 3 are pretty obvious, and Trajan, honestly, for a general that's been around for, 5 years, he's one of the original generals. He's available in the tavern, which is amazing for everybody. He holds up really well. He's probably the best original general in the game that's available in the tavern. Evony just dropped a bunch of new ones, but just the fact that there are so few good ground generals. If you look at mounted, I could do a video on 10 to 15 mounted generals that you could not go wrong with, and they're all good. And ground, 2 of the top 3 were just released in the last, 6 weeks? So it's good that Evony is catching up. Maybe Evony's telling us something. Ground is going to be the new meta. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you think about these generals. Like, subscribe, leave a comment.